This is lettuce and hominy salad day. Now this is a little bit unusual because we're going to make a green salad with a dressing, but we're not going to use as much of the normal ingredients as we usually do. So the first thing I'm going to start with is cannellini beans. We're going to put the dressing together and blend it. So this is not going to be a high-fat dressing, but it is going to be a fairly high-protein salad. It's also going to be a good source of fiber because we have all those beans in there. So in addition to that, I'm going to put 1/4 of a cup of diced jalapeno. Now these are in the blender, so you don't have to spend a lot of time getting them all to a perfect dice because they are going to blend and it's going to come down during that process. Also going to add 1/4 of a cup of cilantro, 1/4 of a cup of fresh lime juice, and I really encourage you to use the fresh on this. About 1/4 of a cup of hot water because we need more liquid to get the blender moving. 1 garlic clove that you've just cut in half. Again, this is because it's going to get blended and it's going to be cut down to size in there. 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt and just a small amount of olive oil. I've got 1 tablespoon of olive oil. And that's really a small amount for a dressing, as most of you undoubtedly know. And then a little bit more seasoning. I've got a teaspoon of your favorite hot sauce, or in this case, my favorite hot sauce. We're just going to put the lid on the blender, and then you're going to blend this until it's smooth, which may take, be patient with it, because you don't want it to have the taste or the texture of the bean that's just been mashed. You want it to actually come down until it's nice and smooth. So probably take at least a minute. At this point, check it, make sure that it's still smooth. Don't worry about precisely how it tastes because we're going to add so many other ingredients, but do taste it to make sure that the texture's good. I've done that on this one. It's smooth enough for my liking, so we let it go for at least a minute. It's going to depend on your blender. You could do it in a food processor as well. So we'll set that aside. You could actually do that part ahead, put it in the refrigerator. You might have to stir it together a little bit before you actually do the salad. This salad serves 6. They're going to be big servings, so you may want to plan, if you choose smaller servings, you may want to plan on it serving 10 or even 12 if they're very smaller, quite a bit smaller salads. So I've got about 1 pound of romaine lettuce. I want a sturdy lettuce for this because it's a little bit of a thicker, heavier dressing, so I want something that's going to be able to hold up to it. It's also got a lot of flavor in that dressing, so I need some greens that are going to contribute their own flavor too. So the romaine is going to hold up and do nicely. I'm also going to use a head, or basically a small head of radicchio. Now, if you don't have radicchio, you can use red leaf lettuce. It will give you some of the color as well. The reason I like the radicchio is it's got some bitterness to the flavor that's going to be a lot different. It's also fairly sturdy, and so it's going to hold up nicely as well. I'm going to mix these together just a little bit to get them kind of started in the mixing, and then we'll add in the other ingredients to it as well. Also to this is one of the store ingredients, as you might have guessed from the lettuce and hominy salad title. This is hominy. They start with usually large kernels of field corn. It's dehydrated and then it's soaked in a slaked lime or a lye solution, and it has a couple advantages. This is a really traditional ingredient, particularly in Mexican culture. Soaking it in the alkaline solution actually prevents the germ from sprouting, and so this would enable them, because the hominy, after it's soaked for a while, would often have been dried so they could use it to make masa, and that prevents it from sprouting, so that would enable them to hold it over a much longer time. It also has a definite advantage in that it frees the niacin in the corn so that your body is able to absorb it much better. And in the cultures where they were using this type of process, they did not find the incidence of pellagra that they found in the southern U.S. who didn't know to do this. So there's another big advantage to it from that standpoint. I'm using canned. The process of soaking it and so on is probably not something that most of us are going to want to do. The canned varieties come in the white I have here, they come in yellow, they come in blue, they come in red, which those are going to be more difficult to find. But you have a lot of options there. It makes it really easy. I've got a cup of shredded carrots that I'm going to add to that, 3 green onions, So you can see this has a lot of color. It's really nice. And then I'm going to save the olives to add a little bit later, but I've got 1/3 cup of ripe olives. Now this much you could cover and keep in the refrigerator again until you're ready. And then you're going to pour on as much dressing as you think you might want. Always with a salad, start with a little bit less than the recipe may need in the end because you don't want to overdress it. And then just stir that in together. And when you get that salad well covered, then if you had sufficient, then what you would do is serve the rest of the dressing on the side in case you have a guest or a family member who thinks that you didn't dress it as well as it should have been and they would really like some more. So this is a really easy salad to do. As I said, you have a lot of color in here, a lot of nutrition. This can be a main dish salad, and in that respect, it's different than what we usually think of main dish salads, which either have beans that you can see, or meat or poultry added to them, or eggs or cheese. So this one's a little bit different. I hope you'll like it. I'm going to sprinkle the olives over the top, just so we keep that black color up where we can see it. And that's all there is to it. It's ready to serve. Lettuce and hominy salad for Oklahoma gardening. This is Barbara Brown.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.